Welcome back. Keeping in our spirit of Women's History Month, as you already know, I have invited the women who amaze me, the women who make my heart sing, the women who I'm so honored to be able to share with you, our viewing audience, because they are amazing and they are making history in their own way. And our next guest is no exception. If she were the rule, we would all be doing so well. Sherita Herring is a mother, a grandmother, an auntie, a friend. She's my friend. I'm so honored to be able to say that. She is a speaker, an author, a radio personality, a business strategist, a visionary, and so much more. And on one hand, wow, those are the benefits of living long enough to do it all. But as she says, it's her gifts that she has to use them or she's going to lose them. So, Sherita has worked with behind the scenes as a coach, as a strategist with some of the world's top social entrepreneurs, celebrities, professional athletes, all names you would know. I'll let her share that if she chooses. And mostly she has built her career and her life doing what she absolutely loves every day. She is living proof that her motto, "You are your only limitation, YAYOL," is so true, because she every single day releases her own limits and finds something new and another amazing way to impress and help and do more in the world. She's currently, once again, demonstrating that there's no limit to what she can achieve. After living and operating in LA and Beverly Hills for 30 years, she is now living out a lifelong passion on her family's homestead. She's moved to a small town in Arkansas, and she is homesteading with, get this, 32 chickens. Because seriously, she's got eggs. That's the key. She's got her own egg factory right there. 5 ducks, 3 guinea fowl, 2 cats, and 8 dogs. Her new line, from Beverly Hills to the Barnyard and anywhere in between. Sherita is doing good, doing well everywhere she goes. Sherita, thank you. Thank you, my friend, for joining us today.
Oh my God.
This is just beyond. I don't even know where to begin with you.
Well, first, just let me say thank you. I'm so honored to be on with you, Lauren. We've known each other for so long. And even before starting today, we were just kind of rehashing where our friendship, how it started and how long it's been. And so I'm honored. A lot of times when you know people, you don't also, for you to think of me for this Women's History Month as someone that you value, I thank you for that. And I'm honored.
Well, I believe you are making history. I believe that friendships like ours, I refer to them as the Hotel California. You can check out, but you can never leave. Yeah. So no matter where you move to, no matter where I move to, we are always with each other. And now it is my joy, really, to share your story with all of our viewers, because while it's Women's History Month, I believe all of us, especially of a certain age, come to a place where maybe we stop believing that there's something else coming. And you are such a living example of there is absolutely no limit. So let's just go back those 30 years and take you from Beverly Hills all the way out to the Barnyard. And I want to also point out that that amazing painting behind you is yours. Yeah. So finding new gifts, finding new outlets all through our lives. You are a living example, my friend. So I'll stop talking now. Let's hear your story from you.
Well, Lauren, first, I often say that I live fearlessly out loud. I never worry about what someone else is going to say. And once we get past that, Lauren, we can do anything. And if we start doing anything and it doesn't work, we can always go back to doing what we were doing. So when you take that fear away of worrying about what someone might say, "Oh, see, I told you it wouldn't work," or "You can't do that," then you can do anything. And that's how I've always been. Back 30 years, I mean, back into more than 30 years. In July 1988, I made the decision as a single young mom to move from Kansas City, Missouri to Los Angeles, California. I knew absolutely no one except a great aunt that had a duplex that was empty, and it had been empty for 6 months. Some kind of way, she was talking to my mom and heard that I wanted to move to Los Angeles. All I needed to do was hear that she said I could live there for 6 months, not pay rent, and she would give me an opportunity to move to LA. July 19th, 1988, me and my two boys pulled up in Los Angeles, and the rest is history. Now, everyone except my mother said it wouldn't work. Even my grandmother said nobody's going to want a single mom with 2 kids. Well, if they don't want me, that's fine, because I'm okay anyway. So the thing is, Lauren, again, ever since I can remember, I've never worried about what someone else might say. It's almost like when you're in the shower and you're singing at the top of your voice, which that's the only place I will sing, because if anyone hears me sing, they'll say I need to hum, so. But when you're in the shower, in the car, and you're singing, you're not worried about anyone saying that you can't sing. You're not worried about if you're saying the wrong words or whatever. That's how I live life. And when you get, again, past that fear of whether someone will hear you, see you or not, then it's limitless on what you can do. And so in doing that, that's how I ended up moving to LA. That's how I ended up starting my own business. When people said that, after I'd worked jobs for about 5 years, I had said after 5 years in LA, I'm going to start my own business. And that's what I did. I always wanted to live close to the water. Well, instead of living close to the water, I lived on the water. I ended up having a sailboat almost donated to me. I got it for $600. Lived on my sailboat for 2 years after my boys left home. You guys, I can go on and on and on, Lauren, but I do need to breathe and let you talk. So.
I think your story is amazing. And honestly, my greatest question is tell me about you. And then we get to hear all about you. But tell me about your business, because in starting your own first business, it has led you to many other businesses and helping others start and hone their own businesses. And that is, I think, where you've, just because you've been doing it for the longest time, have had such great impact. So let's hear about those.
Well, I hit a niche, for one, that really separated me from a lot of other people that were serving as business coaches. You and I met at CEO Space, which is a business forum, and I was the first nonprofit component that Bernie brought to the CEO Space forum. And because of my knowledge and my career that I held at the YMCA as a funds developer, grant writer, whatever you may want to call it, I decided to turn that into a business because I realized that so many people didn't know how to operate in this arena. So I started my business. It was at the time called Creative Images Foundation back in August 1994. And again, that was something I just branched out on. I didn't have a business loan. I just decided that this is what I was going to do. But what it did, Lauren, is that journey from 94 up until even where I am now allowed me to work with social entrepreneurs that just did not know, first of all, that they were a social entrepreneur, which is a person that is in business, but they still have a heart for making a difference. And there's that term called social entrepreneurship. So I started teaching that at CEO Space, where I started getting in touch with individuals like yourself. And you and I both know people were coming from more than 140 countries. Wow. So for me teaching that, it just really solidified me as being known as the grant lady or the nonprofit expert. And from that, Lauren, since that time, I've developed well over 600 organizations operating globally and specializing in forming nonprofits and showing for-profit individuals, whether they're an entrepreneur, someone that's just starting a small business or whatever, how they can also operate in this arena. And along with that, have helped individuals to secure more than 30 million in funding through grants to be able to operate in this arena. Lauren, if I can say this before you, I know you've got other questions, but in the nonprofit arena, most people don't realize it is the 3rd largest business sector in the United States, only falling behind manufacturing and retail. So it is one of the industries that helps the United States be the superpower that it is, which is why so many other countries are trying to mimic the way we operate here as far as nonprofit.
Well, and I think that's a very interesting comment, because most people don't understand that nonprofit is business. It is not strictly, organizations that are looking for donation, but that there is not only funding available, but there is huge opportunity to do more good in the world through nonprofit and blending a nonprofit with a for-profit. You taught me all of this. I didn't know any of this going in, and this has been over 15 years that we have had this conversation. And I just think it's brilliant. And I have watched you help people who came with a seed of an idea and help them bridge it into a profit nonprofit partnership that allows them to do so much more. So it's genius the way you've approached it. And I hope you will, I know you are, but I hope you will also have the opportunity to do some of that, even with some of our viewers, if they're listening now, that this is something that if you feel like you've always wanted to do more good, the way to do that is through Sherita's model of adding a nonprofit arm to your for-profit organization, or forming a nonprofit just to go out and do good.
Well, yeah. See, Lauren, the nonprofit arena was established to even the playing field. You have people here that can afford a particular service or product. You have people here that would like to have it but can't. So, Lauren, like with yourself, the passion you have for fashion and how you change people's lives by being that coach and helping them to wear the right color, or just to enhance their lives through fashion. Now is the perfect time to do that virtually, because everyone, see, with everything that happens in life to us, whatever, there's good and then there's bad, right? And so with COVID, yes, we all lost someone, it drug out, a lot of businesses were lost, but the positive, one of the main things that came out of COVID is virtual. See, a lot of us were doing virtual anyway, but now almost everyone has gone to school virtually, have gone to funerals, had birthday parties, had girls' night out, and so, Lauren, there are individuals that need you, that grants could cover your costs to be on with women, whether or women in domestic violence shelters or whatever, and they could be modeling what they have on right now. And you'd say, you know what, Joyce, I like that black and white sweater, but you also have a red one there, you have a green one. Can you hold each one of them up to you? And now you're looking at them and they're saying, that's the color that brings out your undertones. That's the color that shows the color of your eyes. And you could be coaching these kinds of facilities, and grants would totally be covering your costs, so you could help that population. So again, that's where it evens the playing field. So you've got people that can afford you and your skills. You have people that can't. Grants are what even the playing field. So when people think that you're doing everything for free, that's not the case. It's just grants are covering your salary so you can offer your service to those individuals for free.
And I know that there are people listening who say, oh, I could totally do that. So I know that they can find you and they can learn more about you. Before we talk about where to find you, I want to talk about this Barnyard deal.
Oh, my favorite now.
So, I mean, most of us knew you, Beverly Hills, LA. We didn't know the farm girl in you. And so now you're getting to live out that dream. But of course, in true Sherita fashion, it's not just that you're living on the homestead, you have turned the homestead into a profitable endeavor. Absolutely. And share a little bit about how you're using your property to work for you as well.
Well, if nothing else, the eggs, they're gold, right?
Who knew?
But also, I mean, I've always loved animals. I never knew I would have chickens. Chickens are the funniest thing, and they're aggressive and they have different personalities. And all my chickens have names, from Betty White to Morgan Freeman, Fred Sanford, Meryl Streep. I mean, they all have names because they remind me of certain people. But at the same time, I'm listed on Airbnb because I have a vintage camper. But everything that I'm doing, Lauren, brings dollars to the programs that I am establishing here on the land. So from my greenhouse, which is a nursery, it's the Barnyard nursery, to I've gotten 2 mobile homes that are donated, and I'm going to gut them. And this is where I'm going to hold executive retreats, artist retreats, women's retreats. And so For those of you that may have land and you didn't know that there are grants available to help you do the different things that you would like to do, you might be an accountant and you're sitting in the city, you're sitting in the heart of LA or Virginia or wherever, and you would like to be out on your land. Well, see, that's why with the president's funding, they're making sure that even small towns have the 5G, because small towns, the only way they're going to survive is they're able to at least have internet, so that those that want to do business, like I'm sitting here on my 30 acres, but Lauren, you and I are on right now. So I'm able to still do my business coaching. In between, I can still go outside and deal with my barnyard crew, my feathered crew, my 4-legged crew, and all of that, while at the same time opening up and letting my camper that's checking in at 5 o'clock, making sure that they get, checked in their in the vintage camper. So you can do it all, and you do it at different levels. See, people, and that's why sometimes people say, well, Sherita, I don't have the time to start a nonprofit. It's not like you're developing another business where you got to put in 40 hours over here and 40 hours over here. That accountant, like I was just speaking of, can just start going after funding so that that accountant can also provide those same accounting services to those individuals that could not afford him or her. At the same time, you could have a job training program for startup accountants. Now they're your trainees. It is an entrepreneurial training program, and they're the ones that are working with that population that couldn't afford you, and it's on the job training for them. So it's all about structuring, Lauren. You do the piece that you can do, but at the same time, grants will allow you to hire the staff or the trainees, the trainers that you need to do the other pieces. So Lauren, with you, there's individuals that want to go into fashion design. They can learn from your intellectual knowledge. Now grants are paying you to be the director of the program. You're training them. They're doing that other work that normally you would have to have your hand on.
It's a very, very big conversation. I wish we had more time to go in. But I will have you back. And the other piece that I do want to congratulate you on, Sherita, is your first official art gallery showing. And you did that in Beverly Hills. So congratulations. I saw photos online. I know it was a great success. Yes. I love watching your paintings. I love watching your joy come through you and how you share it. Where can people find you? Give us all of your coordinates. Where can they get more information?
Well, the first thing, now that we've talked about Beverly Hills to Barnyard, go to my Facebook. It is Beverly Hills to Barnyard. And that's where you'll see my paintings. You will see me talking about my master classes. You'll meet my barnyard crew. I mean, that's where everything is. My website is under construction. It is up, but we're working on the new pages now, and it is philanthropyalliance.org. Philanthropy. And the reason I named my new company Philanthropy is I want you to know how to spell it. I want you to know how to say it, because most of us are philanthropists and we didn't know it. And it should be a part of your conversation. It should be a part of your bio. Lauren, how many times have you helped someone that couldn't afford you? How many times are you coaching individuals that could not afford you? That's philanthropy. Philanthropy is spelled PHILANTHROPY. Philanthropy. Yep. And again, most of us are philanthropists. We are all put here. It's always bigger than us. We all were put here to do things that are bigger than us. When you're doing something that is bigger than yourself, when you're reaching out a hand, if you're volunteering, if you're donating something, if you're just coaching pro bono, you're a philanthropist.
Yes. And we are all here to do something bigger than ourselves. So thank you for modeling that for us. Sherita Herring, it is always a pleasure, my friend, and we will bring you back, because I definitely want us to follow up on the barnyard and the barnyard crew.
And my painting that I didn't get to talk about.
We will talk about the next time. Maybe we'll do our own little online art show with your newest works. Yeah. It's such an honor to have you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And we'll be right back.